Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tanzil Mirza. Today I'm gonna show you how to uh, delete something from the state array. In the previous lecture, we saw how to access the state array, the state elements or the array, anything you call that. How to access those elements dynamically using map function. We introduced a map function in the previous video, in the previous lecture. So in this lecture we'll add some function add some more functionalities. We'll add some more functionalities to the same program so that we can delete the elements over there. Let me show you something. All right, this is my code. Right now it's not displaying anything, nothing is being rendered as this area is blank right now, obviously. So as you have already seen, these persons variable, this person's array, sorry, inside this state, and these are the objects: name, skill, name, skill, name, and skill. Now we'll do something. First of all, in the previous lecture, if you remember, we tried displaying all these elements, all these entire array elements on this screen right here on the browser. So first of all, let me do that. This dot state. Okay, why we have wrapped everything inside these two these two curly braces? Because we are going to write some JavaScript here. That's why we have to wrap all the JavaScript inside a pair of these curly braces. So now let's start with this dot state dot persons dot map. All right, so inside this map function, let me put a semicolon over here. Let's move the semicolon from here right now. Now inside the map function, we passed this argument single person, like this. All right, now inside this function, what we did, this thing. Okay, so here we'll return some JSX code person. Now let me create a new line uh, it so that it's readable. It becomes convenient, it becomes readable now. Permanent name is equals to single person dot name, and skill is equals to single person dot skill. And we'll close this tag here, we'll save the file. See, so this is what we saw in the previous lecture. In the previous video we have got everything. So in this video, in this lecture, uh, what we'll be doing will be, let give me some space over here. We don't have a space right now. We'll go back to the space. It's not creating a space here, I don't know why. Let's do this. Okay, now we have a space over there. All right, so in the previous lecture, if you remember, we did this thing only up till here. Now we'll add an extra functionality over here, that when I click on some particular name, suppose I clicked on this name Sunil, or over this paragraph, wherever I clicked here, this should get deleted. This should not be there, this should get deleted, while Tanzil, Abhishek and Amit must be there. Okay, so in this lecture we'll be focusing on this functionality. All right, deleting the element. So for this, all right, so I must tell you, okay, I must recall something very important over here. In the previous lecture as well as in this lecture also, I did not mention that. Okay, let me show you instead. If I go to inspect element, you can see there is a persistent error over here. This one, warning: each child in a list should have a unique key prop. This was not a problem in these small programs, be it the previous one or this one. It was not a problem, but in the long run, this warning can create a havoc in your program. So I'll not be covering this thing right now in this lecture, but we can ignore this right now. But I promise that I that we'll cover this thing. We'll try to fix this error in the upcoming videos, maybe after next 2 3 videos. It's not important right now because we are working with very smaller versions. And so like right now we can ignore these things. Okay, so let's see. So in this lecture we are focusing on deleting these array elements. Okay, so now, okay, now let me tell you the basic procedure. All these elements are having their index numbers, because this is an array. As you can see, it's a person's array, it's a state, it's an array. These are array elements, where though these are JSON object, but still these are arrays, no? And every array have some, every array element have an index number. This is um a general programming knowledge. You all of us must know that. You all know, must know that this thing. Okay, so then this is index 0, index 1, index 2, and index 3. Index 0, index 1, index 2, and index number 3. So we have to specify that which index we are going to delete. When we click on this thing, suppose I clicked on Sunil, then this is on index number 0, 1, 2. This Sunil is on index number 2. Then index number 2 must be passed to the function which will delete this particular index. Okay, so now I'll create a function. Let me first declare the function. Let me call this delete handler. This is delete handler. Okay, just leave it as it is right now. Okay, so inside this map function, since we were passing only one variable, only one argument, it was not required to bind this variable in this particular argument inside a set of parentheses. But now we have to pass an index also, comma index. And it's a JavaScript rule that if you are passing more than one argument, then you have to bind everything inside a set of parentheses, as we did here right now. It's good now. Okay, index. Now I'll add a new property over here, just like name and skill. We have one more property here, click. And on this click, I'll call this dot delete handler. And inside this delete handler, I'll pass this index. Okay, I'll pass this index, and we have to use this kind of syntax. Okay, there is a way around. If you do not want to use this kind of syntax, you can also use bind function, which I'll tell you in a couple of moments. Just first of all do this thing. I'll let you know how to use bind function also, or get rid of this syntax. But first concentrate on deleting the things. Okay, so here also, if your function is receiving an index right here, then you have to pass one index here also, person index. This is a custom name. Of course, you are free to use any other name, even this index also. I could have used this index also here, but for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of better understanding, I used a different name here. Person delete index. All right. Now the important thing begins here. Create the basic idea behind is that I'll try to copy this entire content, or this entire content inside a variable. I'll make changes to that variable and copy back the edited or the mutated state into the original state. You getting my point? Okay, let's start coding. You will get to know. First of all, I'm taking this constant. Okay, const persons. I'm taking the same name as the previous one. If you think that you might be thinking that it can be a conflict, but no, it will not be a conflict, because this is a local this person's is local to this delete handler function, so it's not a conflict. I'm taking a constant variable persons, and what will I do? I'll try to copy this dot state dot persons. Okay, I copied this entire thing into this person's. Okay, I copied this here. uh, but here I want to tell you something, that in Java and JavaScript, basically in React JS, this these type of variables works as reference type variables. So actually we are not creating, in actual sense we are not creating any other copy of these persons. We are actually pointing to that person itself. This was an array. This person's, this name, this person's was pointing to this array. All right, this was pointing to this thing, this array. Now when we try to copy this state dot persons, now this is not a separate variable, this is not a separate variable. This thing is also, this person is also pointing to this one. So any changes I try to make via this variable, it will also make changes to this one also. All right, to this one also, because in Java in JavaScript it works, these array names works as reference type variables. We are not creating, in actual sense we are not creating any copy of that. So now, so once we try to the so-called copy of this person inside this person, now what we'll do, in later just a video in later versions, in later videos I'll tell you how to create a separate copy, sorry, of the splice function, and using the splice function and functions, splice and slice. So I'll let you know how to do these kind of thing, but still let's first do this. Okay, persons. Now I'm trying to make some changes. Splice, sorry, here it will be splice means removing something. Okay, splice person index comma 1. 1 means 1 stands for only once. Okay, person index, the index, we'll have to specify two arguments in this splice function. First is the index number, that is index 0, 1, 2 or 3, any index, and only remove only once. Okay, now person, now we'll copy back, push back the changes to the original state. Persons to persons means this global person, we are restoring this global persons using this copied or this reference type or this mutated persons. We'll save this file here. Or okay, everything seems good, but this is still not working here. Okay, we are clicking, but it's not deleting anything. Can you figure out the problem? Just pause for a moment. Just pause this video for a moment and try to figure out why it's not deleting anything. Okay, it's not deleting anything because we haven't called this property inside our original person component. So here we have to call on click. We forgot this, no? On click is equals to props dot why we are using this thing as a props, because all these are properties, no? This name was a property, skill was a this name was a property, this skill was a property. Similarly, this click is also a property. So we can invoke the properties of an attribute using props. See, here we are using props dot name, props dot skill. So here also we'll use props dot click. Let's save this file and try to figure out. See, now it's working fine. The moment I when I refresh this page, we get everything back to normal. See, the moment I click over the name or anywhere on the paragraph, that particular element gets deleted. See, when I refresh the page, I'll get everything back to normal. So this is how we do this. So in the next lectures, we will try to figure out some more efficient ways, because this method is not recommended. This is never encouraged, because later in the program you must be having some other components or some other functions which are dependent upon this state, and your delete function is creating a havoc in this program. No, it is deleting each and everything according to its own wills and whims. We are actually referring to the same state persons, to the same state. We are not creating, actually in actual sense under the hood we are not creating any. It may seem that we are trying to copy this state inside that person, but in JavaScript these constant, these array names, These kind of variables, these kind of array names are reference type variables. They are pointing to the same thing. You can imagine this thing, it's a general programming concept that these are pointing to the same thing. So if I'm making changes here, it is also making changes here. And if other functions are dependent over this state, it will create a huge problem. It may crash your code in the long run. No, so we have to find some way to create an actual copy, and that we can do using slice function, not splice, slice, slice, slice function. I'll tell you how in the next videos. I'll tell you how to use use this function. Okay. So in this lecture, this was all for this lecture. um, Today we learned how to delete these elements. All right, and in the next lectures we'll also try to fix this persistent warning each. So in the next in a couple of videos, in the next few 2 3 videos, I'll tell you what keys are. Try to explain what keys are and why they are useful, and why this error was there, and of course we'll try to fix this error. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any doubt, you can write it down in the comment section below. Thank you so much.